Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the online motivation channel. You're with me, Hilman going on solo today. We're going to talk about a topic that is pretty general, but it is pretty effective, and most of us are experiencing this day in and day out without us realizing it. What is it all about? Right, today we're going to talk about boredom. Boredom can be the motherlode of every sickness when it comes to being lazy, when it comes to being unproductive, when it comes to being not resourceful towards your own self. When we talk about boredom, what is it about boredom? Boredom is not about doing things, not so much about doing things that we don't like. Boredom is about doing things that kind of like gets mundane, and then even though you're doing it again and again, you are good at it, but you don't have the passion for it. That can be considered as passion. That can be considered as boredom. All right, let's see. A lot of times when we especially go for job hunting, what are we actually looking for? Are we looking for a good salary? And we often consider workload, we often consider what salary. We hardly consider about whether that job really satisfies us. You see, a lot of turnover rates in a workforce, in a company or in any particular job requires a certain bit of interest. All right, you don't want to kind of like settle for just a job that pays you well, but then you are just dragging yourself every single day you go to work. Okay, we want a different type of ambience. There will be time, alright, maybe your first starting job might not be the job that you're looking for, but as the time you progress, when you are much more credible, when you are much more maybe educated, and when you're much more resourceful as well as capable with your own self, you might want to find a job that not just satisfy your salary, not just satisfy your needs, but actually also satisfy your passion and your interests. Okay, a lot of times when I spoke to people all around, what type of job do they want, most of them, just out of the spur of the thingy, the first thing that comes into their mind is the salary. The salary has to satisfy the workload. You see, life is always unfair in many cases, all right? Salary satisfying workload is something which we cannot compromise. Okay, you give you a good salary, there's always something bound to happen. There are times in your work life where there's a lot of work to be done. There are times where you are free. Okay, but have we ever thought that whether those jobs, the job that we are currently doing right now, is something that we enjoy doing it, or is just something that is just a job, so I have to just deal with it? You see, a lot of them say that making that as an excuse for them to have a pretty boring kind of like lifestyle. You see, you don't have to get high pay salary just to satisfy your need. A lot of them think that with high pay comes good in everything. All right, I do not deny that financial credibility or financial stability is one of the most sought after prospects in life. However, doing something that you don't enjoy will just eat you slowly. Okay, the point I'm bringing is, okay, boredom, as a lot of people might think, is just you doing nothing at all that makes you bored. Okay, yes, that is the general term for boredom, but what is much more detail when we talk about boredom is actually doing things not towards your liking, doing things that you don't enjoy. Okay, some students that I counsel, that I teach, all right, they say that studying is a boredom. So the next question that I often ask them is, how do you go about studying? Is it like for the whole 9-10 hours straight jack, you just staring on the books and then studying? Okay, so basically we try, okay, certain things you just can't get off the hook, all right, because you have an important exam coming up, you need to study. That's the bottom line, you just have to study. But how do you make that study experience something which is not out of boredom? Yes, studying can be very dry, can be very intense, and a lot of times people just get bored, okay? Especially when you study certain topics that doesn't inspire you in anything, but you just have to read about it. So we try to find certain strategies in ways we can actually elevate their interest in studying something that is much more interactive, something that is much more creative, and it's always useful in the middle of you studying. It's always useful to actually set a certain time for you to have a break. Okay, those are always one of my fundamentals when it comes to tips of getting to study. So basically, the more you read, all right, those break times will be the time it actually absorbs into your mind. All right, by studying the whole straight 10 hours or whatever hours you are looking at, right, will just exhaust your brain so much that you might only get to kind of like absorb maybe 50%, 60% of the information if you're lucky. All right, on most accounts, students who are mostly on the average side might even get less than 30%. So how do we actually entice our students to study for the exam is to create a certain curriculum and a certain style of studying which will be much more adaptive to one's need. It's actually pretty individual, right? I wouldn't say that my style of studying is the same as yours, and then because I need to know what interests them and what are the things that inspire them to do something. So basically, I need to know about students' interests. I need to know about their passion, and that's how I try to elevate those passion and interests into the studying mode. Well, which can sound a bit complicated, but we go into that in our future videos. But the thing right now is, how do we get out of this boredom? All right, that's always a thing to spare upon, to think about. Okay, boredom is a killer. All right, you can be doing an 8 to 5 job every single day out of boredom, and then when people ask you, it's a job, so I just have to do it. But never cross our minds that doing something that we enjoy is much more productive and much more important than just doing a job. All right, a lot of times, okay, 60% or people out there says that they are not satisfied with their job, and most of the time it all boils down to boredom. There is a lack of interest, there is a lack of creativity in their job, and that leads to lack of prospect. Right? A lot of times they don't see themselves propelling forward into bigger heights because their job just requires them to do that much work, and it's a everyday routine. Though so far there is no productivity, there is no initiative, therefore there was not going to be any progress. So think about it this way: if you are stuck in that dilemma where you have a job that is just a repetitive type of job, and then you are not enjoying every moment in your job, perhaps now is the time. It's not too late to think about what you actually want for yourself. Think about your interests, think about your passion, all right, and then try to work towards it. All right, keep yourself occupied. A lot of times people get bored because they don't keep themselves occupied. All right, you can work an 8 to 5 job Monday to Friday, but then have Saturday and Sunday just for yourself. All right, do something that that interests you during those free hours, during those free times that you have. All right, do something that elevates your passion, elevates your interest, elevate your creativity. So basically, a lot of these factors will first of all make you occupied. Then when you are occupied, you get less bored, and when you get less bored, you get less depressed, less stressed, and less of all the other negative thoughts. A lot of times, okay, this boredom always concludes to certain types of negative thoughts that come into our mind, and then at the end of the day, we tend to just kind of like blame ourselves and then say, my life is like that, I'm made to be like that, so that's the bottom line because I'm like that. Okay, you don't have to put the entire blame on yourself, but it will be a wrong move not to propel forward by looking at things that you like to do. Master the art of that passion. Let's say if you are good in drawing, master the art of drawing. You're good in photography, master the art of photography. All right, be a master in your own passion, in your own interest, and then when you master that skill, right, the next thing forward is to create a huge portfolio, so that an impressive portfolio to move forward to kind of like support that mastery that you have developed through your interests. After which, when you have that mastery, you have a very impressive portfolio, it's time to do what? You know, I love to do all the time, to teach. Teach to the next generation. Teach to people who doesn't know anything about it. Because right now you are master of that trade, my friends. So teach. This is a cycle. It's an ongoing kind of like, and it's productivity, because you are not just having that skill for yourself. You don't just master that skill for yourself, but you are also teaching other people to master this thing. So basically, I'm just trying to say, right, when it comes to boredom, there's a lot of things that we can do to eradicate boredom. But start off with something that you love to do, that you have always wanted to do, but you don't have the chance to do it because of some other commitments. All right, there will be time, all right, that comes into my mind, into your mind, that you want to do something. All right, try to get your hands on that something. All right, it can be, you know, web designing, game designing, or it can be, you know, photography or videography, sketching arts, anything. All right, get your hands on those tools. All right, learn it, master it. All right, create a product out of it. It will be much better if you can create an income out of it. And then when you have a huge followers, or when you have a huge portfolio of yourself, it's time to teach that trade to other people, right? We want to be a master of one particular trade at least. We don't want to be the master of a jack of all trades, all right, and master of none. A lot of people are falling into that proportion, which is something, you know, we try to avoid doing it. But we want to be, if you are really interested in one type of field, pursue that interest, pursue that passion. Yes, I know at the back of the story, find a stable job is important. Yes, but think about it, fellas. You are stuck with a job 8 to 5 that you don't really kind of like enjoy. But at the end of the week, comes to the weekend, you know that you got something to look forward to, which is to master the art of things that you are interested, that you are passionate about. So at least right now, your life, there's something to look forward to. It's not just the same old crap that you've been doing every single day. Have that mastery, all right? Master that mastery, and then, you know, create something out of it. If you even better, create a product out of it, all right? Earn income, and then earn passive income sometimes. You know, it will be much more better that way. And then try to spread that knowledge to other people. When you are occupied doing all this stuff, right, you felt that your life is much more meaningful, because not just you do something for yourself, but the fact that you teach and then you spread that knowledge to everyone else, you are also doing everyone else a favor. All right, so start being productive today. Get your interests, all right, be passionate, master the art of your interest, and then hopefully you will definitely get out of that boredom. All right, when you are occupied doing something that you love, trust me, my friends, you are going to propel forward, and then everything just comes in. You get less of all the negative thoughts, right? Even though you are stuck with, you know, the kind of like the normal job that you are currently having, one never knows that this mastery or this passion that you are currently pursuing right now can generate you additional passive income. Right? A lot of times that happens. So it happens for some of us, right? It happened for me before. So right now I'm just telling you, perhaps this could be one avenue for you to get out of that boredom and then work towards what you're passionate about. Okay? That's it for me talking about boredom today. Alright, I'm Hilman Basri signing out from the Online Motivation channel. I will look forward to meeting you in my other videos. Alright, so stay tuned to see what other videos I have uploaded into this particular website. I'll see you guys soon enough. Bye bye, love you all.